Starting a business from the ground floor takes a great plan, the right team, and a fine-tuned elevator pitch.
Join us on the 43-second ride to the top of the Space Needle
As an entrepreneur delivers a make-or-break pitch for their startup.
Will they be staying at the top
or going back down?
This is the Elevator Pitch.
Katherine Sears with Booktrope Publishing. How do you publish a book? Well, today you have two options. Traditional publishing, which is slow to market and requires bestsellers for business success, so they turn out fewer books every year. Or self-publishing. That represents some quality problems for the reader and it's expensive for the author. We've come up with a third option. We call it team publishing. We bring together teams of people, typically author, editor, book designer, and marketing manager. They collaborate first on the creation of the book and then ultimately on marketing and sales. Everybody's compensated using a royalty model. This keeps our overhead quite low, but still allows us to turn out a high quality book for the reader. Hey, I had extra time.
Katherine, I thought you did a great job. Very clear pitch, and it caught my interest. My father actually is going through the pain right now of trying to publish his memoirs, and I've been trying to push him towards this self-publishing model. So I think there is a pain point there for amateur authors and people that just want to get published. I would have liked to have hear a little bit more about how it works. I think there was a little bit of extra time there, and I'm still not entirely convinced, but I think there's a problem here. I just want to know exactly how you're solving it, what this group publishing aspect actually means, how people come together.
I might have done something a little different with the extra time, but I too thought it was a fantastic pitch. You did a great job of suggesting that there's a real problem in this industry, which is shifting, and that is it's based on hits. And a lot of authors, perhaps your dad...
I don't know if he's going for the blockbuster hit.
Right, but you suffer from this sort of long tail of books that maybe sell one or two copies. I would love to hear more about how you solve that long tail problem.
My dad's also writing a book. Maybe
It
we
must
should
be,
get it together.
yeah.
Right?
They can sell to one
Katherine,
another.
I thought the pitch was very good. It was concise. You focused on a problem. You told us. I have some questions about why the current solution, which is for these folks, which is Amazon, isn't good enough. Is what you're adding better enough that people are going to actually use your service? So maybe you could respond to that.
And recent surveys indicate about 80% of survey respondents to a New York Times survey actually either have written or want to write a book. And we based our business model on exactly what you're talking about, not having bestsellers. So the business succeeds if we can average 200 copies per month for 1 year for the front list titles. So what happens if you're a self-published author is you actually have to create a publishing business. You need to find cover artists, editors, you need to do layout. There's a lot more to it than just uploading. And then what most authors really struggle with is the marketing side. So once you've written the book, that's kind of step 1. Step 2 through 10 is actually getting somebody to know the book is out there. So we've also developed a really specific marketing technique that's much more closely aligned with best practices in the internet marketing space versus traditional book marketing, which is a little bit antiquated at this point. So we've proven our success. We've had, despite not needing them, we've had several bestsellers, and all of our titles in the front list space, which is the first year they're out, are averaging that 200 copies per month.
What do you guys think? We need to make a decision here.
Yeah.
Is Roger Cook going to use this?
Is Roger Cook going to use it? That's the question.
It's all on your dad.
He wants to go get like some gigantic publishing house to print his memoirs,
right.
which I'm trying to convince him there's a lower cost, probably more realistic option for him. So I would encourage him to use something like this, certainly. I liked the pitch a lot. I think you did a nice job of explaining it. I would have liked to have heard a little bit more about these things we got into post-Elevator, because I think there are some really good factors here that you were just touching on that really kind of help me understand it a bit better. And you had extra time in the elevator, of course, too. You should have used that to tell us a little bit more about yourself or the business. As I said, I'm kind of on the fence here. I'm going to say a thumbs up, but I'm going to wait to hear from my judges, because I can actually be persuaded here. So you can convince me otherwise.
Do you want me to go, or do you want to?
All right, let's go for it. I'll be the tiebreaker if I need to.
All right. Well, I I like the pitch, Katherine. I think you highlighted a problem, and I thought you were succinct. I think I just don't see this as being something Amazon's going to easily give up, and I think the higher profit margin you get from them, I'm a former author, the 70%, and I think what the services they're offering are good enough for most authors. So one of the questions I'm asking is not, is this an interesting business? I think it could be for a large number of authors, but can this be a really big business? And I question that. So for me at this point, it's a thumbs down.
I would have loved to hear in the extra time that you had about your traction. So Katherine has been at this for some time. They've got some hits out there, even though the business isn't hit driven.
Yeah, she mentioned that you had a few bestsellers, which was interesting.
Yeah.
I think in the pitch maybe should have mentioned that. I mean, that would have gotten our interest right off the bat.
Yeah, I really do like that the authors win. I would think that as a former author.
But Greg says that they win more on Amazon.
Well, they get a little more enough. James Gottesman and Roger. That's the question. We should compare notes here.
They're going to talk to their dads.
We'll have a discussion with he's not doing memoirs though. Maybe that would be more interesting. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to go thumbs up. I actually really think that this industry could use a lot of disruption, and I like that you're already going there. And maybe there's room for more than one than just Amazon.
And you got to disrupt a disruptor.
Right.
You got to disrupt Amazon, which is not an easy thing to do.
There's
but,
a big challenge there.
There's always opportunity going up against the big guy.
Right.
There is.
So, great job.
So I guess you're staying on top. We got 2 thumbs up. You convinced me, Rebecca. Greg, we're polar
I can't
opposites.
convince anyone of it. All right. That's right.
I like the pitch. I thought it was very polished. This is an entrepreneur who has some good domain expertise. She was very comfortable with the subject matter. I thought that came across in less than 43 seconds. She did her pitch in about 33.
Yeah, she could have worked in a few more details there, telling us a little bit more about who she is and why she's passionate about the idea. But overall, it convinced me, and I think there is a problem there to solve.
But it's definitely an intense version of the elevator pitch you think you know how to give. Yeah. Well, I think it's actually the same tip, and that is if you have a dream, you have to just go do it. You can't sit on the sidelines and hope that somebody's going to bring it to you. You just have to go for it. You really just have to go for it.